Our first speaker will be Ron Mortensen, author of the paper in the packets, a retired Foreign Service officer who's worked with the Society for Human Resource Executives? Management, which obviously specifically is relevant to ID issues as well. Ron will speak first and talk about his paper.
Okay, the paper I'm reporting on is a document called Illegal but Not Undocumented, Identity Theft, Document Fraud, and Illegal Employment. I first learned about the problem of illegal alien-driven identity theft about 4 years ago. I live in Utah, and out there our Workforce Services Division had noticed that a lot of wage data actually was being assigned to Social Security numbers of children, and they kind of wondered how an 8-year-old could be earning $30,000 a year or something. Our Medicaid folks, when they'd run the applicants through the SAVE system, were finding children making $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 a year. And so this raised some concerns. So they went and there was a task force formed to the Social Security Administration, the Attorney General's office, and ICE, and they took all of the children in Utah who were receiving public assistance because they had their Social Security numbers. They took those numbers and then they ran them against the Social Security database and things, and they found that 1,800 kids under the age of 13 had their Social Security numbers being used, and 5,000 under the age of 18. And if you at any given time, about 10% of the families in Utah are on public assistance. So just a rough extrapolation comes out 20,000 to 50,000 children had their identities being used. And then when they started going in to look at who used these identities, they found that it was primarily illegal aliens. And the reason that they wanted to get these children's identities, the child's identity is very valuable because nobody checks their credit history. Nobody's looking at what's going on with that identity number for years. It was very interesting that one of our state legislators actually, her son had gone away to college, 18 years old. He went down to college and he went to get an internet service hooked up, and he was denied because he had bad credit. And when they looked into it, an illegal alien had been using his Social Security number for years and ruined his credit, so he couldn't even get his internet service hooked up. So anyway, based on that, that's what gave me the idea to start looking into this. And on the study, there's 3 major findings in the study, basically, that illegal aliens might not have legal documents, but they are definitely not undocumented. They have lots and lots of false documents. They have false green cards. They have even passports. They might have birth certificates. They have Social Security numbers. They have driver's licenses. They have all kinds of documents that are required in order to operate within society and to get jobs. In fact, even according to the Social Security Administration, estimates that 3/4 of illegal aliens have a Social Security number, although they cannot legally get one. On the identity theft, the interesting thing, too, is that 98% of the identity theft, according to the Social Security Administration's Inspector General in Utah, 98% is Social Security number only identity theft, which means I use my own name and I get somebody else's Social Security number and just use it with my name. I don't take the total identity of the person. It's too hard to get. It's too hard for me to find somebody's name, date of birth, and Social Security number. It's easy to get a Social Security number. So 98% is Social Security number only identity theft. The second thing that this points out is we always hear that illegal aliens are really law-abiding, good law-abiding people. The only violation of law is a civil breach of when they enter the United States illegally, and after that they're just good, hardworking people. Well, the fact of the matter is that in order to get a job, you have to commit 2 and possibly 3 felonies. First, if you go into a reputable employer, you have to have the information required for the I-9 form. So you have to have a Social Security number, you have to have a passport, you have to have a driver's license, you have to have identification documents for the employer to look at when he's filling out the I-9 form. To do that, you've committed document fraud, which is a felony. Then you fill out the I-9 form, and on the I-9 form it very clearly states that I am aware that federal law provides imprisonment and or fines for false statements or use of false documents in connection with the completion of this form. And then under penalty of perjury, I certify that I am a citizen of the United States, a lawful permanent resident, an alien authorized to work in the United States. Now, if you're here illegally, you cannot certify to any of those, but they do, and they fill this out, so it's under penalty of perjury. So that's the second felony. And then the third felony will be if that Social Security number belongs to someone else, it's identity theft. And we'll talk about it later. Janice will talk about it. At the federal level, the identity theft was said it had to be knowingly done, or it didn't count. A number of state laws have changed that. In Utah, for example, our state law was changed to say even you cannot use the fact that you did not know that the number belonged to someone else as a defense against identity theft. You're stuck with identity theft in that case. So up to 3 felonies to get a job. The key thing too is if you look at in the report, and the table has been updated on the website. The table in the report has some older data in it. It's updated on the website, so I'd encourage you to look at that. But identity theft and illegal immigration go hand in hand. The states that rank the highest in identity theft also have the highest percentage of population of illegal immigrants in their population. And then also, for example, in Arizona, when they break it out, when the Federal Trade Commission breaks it out, 33% of all identity theft in Arizona is employment related, 27% in Texas, 20% in California. So employment-related identity theft is a major driver of identity theft, and almost all of that is associated with the illegal immigrants. The third thing that the paper points out that is a fallacy is that illegal immigration is a victimless crime. They come in and they take jobs. They're working. They're good, hard-working people. They contribute to the economy. The fact is, if your number, Social Security number, is being used by an illegal alien or anyone else for that matter, you can have serious problems. The credit bureaus don't. If they get a Social Security number that comes in and it's not totally matched to your name, they'll create a subfile, and that starts impacting your credit score. If somebody gets an arrest record on your Social Security number and a warrant's issued, you can be pursued for that warrant. If somebody earns income and, say, an illegal alien using your Social Security number makes $50,000 and they don't file an income tax return, the IRS will first start out trying to find the individual who earned the money, but if they can't find them, then they come back on you and ask you to pay it, and you have to prove that you didn't earn that money. And it can cause all kinds of problems. There's horror stories of people having wage garnishments or refunds held up or anything else because the IRS says it's your Social Security number, the money is made under it, you got to pay it. And perhaps the worst thing that can happen is as we go to electronic medical records, if those are medical records and Social Security numbers are linked, if somebody's using my Social Security number and I have O positive blood and somehow our records get mixed and he has B negative blood, that could be a life-threatening situation if the medical records become corrupt, if you can't have a confidence that your medical records are okay.